talking about. But at the moment, it looks like the rotation has broadened up just a little bit. Still a lot of lightning packed in this cell. Winds associated with this anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour. I just did a query on the winds when we had sort of that tighter rotation just a couple of minutes ago, and the winds were right about 54 miles per hour, but that was in one direction. So if we were to query the other direction, it would likely be 50 miles an hour as well. So when you have that sort of rotation back and forth, you could be dealing with winds close to 100 miles an hour in total. All right, let's have a look at reflectivity with this cell. Again, lots of lightning packed in here, still dealing with some hail. Hail size at the moment doesn't actually look too impressive. Looks like the hail core is sort of gone, Jeff, so that's some good news, no longer dealing with that. But still lots of lightning embedded with this cell. Like I mentioned before, we are still tracking lots of storms to come. We've been talking about Tuesday, which is today, for quite some time. Since about Saturday morning, we've been keeping our eye on this system. And it's been a couple of days that we've been dealing with this. We had some supercells develop last night. We had some supercells develop on Sunday night. Both nights bringing severe weather. Again, that's bringing severe weather into our area once again this evening, as we are tracking this warm front that's starting to lift off towards the north, bringing in some warmer temperatures, some convective atmosphere, and a really conducive atmosphere for this type of weather is currently happening on
Parker,
top of us.
One of the things I do want to say in regards to the synoptic features that you're looking at is you've got that low pressure system, you have the cold front, and you have the warm front.
Right.
On a day like this, on a day where you are tracking such an enormous amount of spin in the atmosphere, the last thing you want to see is a warm front.
Yeah.
Okay, warm fronts tend to provide enough lift to create the spin for the spin to actually be from the sky reach to the ground. So again, anytime you have a warm front in this dynamic atmosphere, that's never a good sign. Okay, before we actually toss it back to John, I do want to show you one more time the storm relative velocity. Actually, we're going to toss to break here in 1 minute. You'll notice that we are seeing still some broad rotation in Pocahontas County in West Virginia. What I want to do is I want to actually zoom out just a little bit to give you an idea of how close this thing is to the Commonwealth. This kind of really dark black line right here, that is the border with Virginia. Okay, so we don't have that much more time before this thing actually tries to get into the Commonwealth, and we think that will happen within about the next 15 to 25 minutes. If this cell continues to have the spin that you're seeing right now, I would imagine that the National Weather Service in Blacksville will continue this tornado warning as you head a little bit closer to eventually Hot Springs and potentially even over towards Monterey. But again, this thing's moving to the east at about 40 miles per hour. Not that much longer before it enters the Commonwealth from southern Pocahontas County in West Virginia. If there is any good news to be had, it does look as though that this storm system or the cell itself may stay just to the south of Marlinton. Do you agree with that, Parker? Do you think that this thing is going to stay just to the south of the biggest town in Pocahontas County?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's very safe to say that it's going to stay just to the south as it continues to track basically due east now. Something that I'm also looking at is a little bit of some thunderstorms out ahead of this storm, so maybe eating up some of the energy ahead of it as it starts to track to the east. So that could also be some good news as we head into the next 15 minutes or so.
Now, let's hope it happens. Let's hope these storms kind of feed off of each other and they all weaken, and then we don't have to talk about any more tornado warnings for the duration of this event. But I will tell you, as Parker was saying earlier, that this is only the beginning. Okay, we're going to have, I think, a fairly active evening, then maybe a break, and then more showers and thunderstorms capable of damaging wind, hail, and potentially a tornado as we get closer to, say, 4 or 5 a.m., lasting through tomorrow morning through the early afternoon hours. So this first batch of potential severe weather will be with us from right now through at least part of the evening, and then we get a break, and then after about 3, 4 a.m. through about noon, 1, maybe 2 o'clock tomorrow, we're still going to have a dynamic atmosphere that could have yet another round of severe weather pushing closer to the Commonwealth. For now, we're going to toss it to break. We'll continue with WSLS News at 5:30 in just a couple of minutes.